What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XCN OnyxCoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. So here we are, looking at this on a daily time frame at about 1.363 cents right now. I just went through, and actually I want to show you guys what I was just doing here so that it's not a total waste of time. Let's see here. Hold on. Come on now. Yeah, all that will make sense in a second, okay? So what I've done was I measured in time how long it took whenever we found, because we're finding resistance here at this white line, right? Like if I could delete it all and put this white line at the 60 on the RSI, you can see we found resistance here, resistance there, resistance there, resistance, 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 right? You can see that. I took from the top of the RSI to when you hit the oversold zone. How long did it take? 3 days, 20 hours here. You didn't hit the oversold zone, but that was your low, so we're going to count it. 2 days, 4 hours there. Not the low of the move itself necessarily, right? I didn't measure this all the way out here, but just to the oversold zone, because I don't expect that we're going to see a move that takes us all the way down, right? I would expect that we do probably bounce right off the oversold zone, something like that. And what I've got, oh no, did I mess it all up? I think I did mess it all up. Okay, so what I've got here is if we look at it from a 2-day and 4-hour perspective, the smallest time frame that we've got is 1 day and 8 hours. Okay. As of now, right now, we're at 1 day and 8 hours. So I don't think that it's going to take 1 day and 8 hours to move down to the oversold zone. The next possible time frame that we've seen is about 2 days and 4 hours. And this does not mean it has to be 2 days and 4 hours. It can happen in between, but let's just run with what we've seen so far in this range, right? 2 days and 4 hours. I hope this makes sense. If not, we're going to make sense out of it in just a second. Don't you worry. And then 4 days, 16 hours was the longest. But to be fair, we came from a higher place. So I doubt that it takes 4 days and 16 hours. But let's just say that it does for all intents and purposes there. Okay. We take that there. Boom. Again, what we just did was we analyzed, we looked at all these highs relative to the 60 area in the RSI and how long it took from a time perspective to work your way down to the oversold zone. Okay. Because I do expect we're going to go lower. I don't expect that the RSI is going to go lower in the oversold zone, but I wouldn't be surprised if we found some kind of higher low. And the time frame scenario that we'd look for is something between, you know, Thursday, late Thursday tomorrow, so basically right before the daily close, to potentially very early on Sunday, right before the end of the week. Okay? And if we look at the price action here, I'm assuming from a low to a high that OnyxCoin will move down anywhere from the golden ratio to the 886 area, maybe even down to the 100 area. I'm not expecting we go below this low. That's not what I'm expecting. But if we were, we could see prices at 0.009 to 0.00844, and maybe even lower is possible. Again, addressing it as a possibility does not mean I'm expecting it as an outcome. If we go below this low, I'm not going to be like, haha, I told you, this is exactly what I was calling for back here. No, that's not me, dude. I don't do that. What I will say is we were prepared for this. Okay, it's not what I expected. I'm expecting we hold this as a low and we don't go below it. That's what I'm expecting. I'll say, haha, I was right there. You know, I probably won't even do it there, to be completely fair. But I'm expecting this low resolution, whether it is below this low, whether it is above this low, whether it's exactly at that low. We get a double bottom, a higher low, a lower low, whatever it is. I'm expecting it to happen sometime in this area here. And to me, the most likely outcome would be something between about 1.2 cents at the golden ratio to the 886, which is at just below 1.1 cents, something like that. And what's great about that too, if I take this all away, you see the 4-hour close here, that's at 1.117 cents, right? The 886 is just below that. So if we close a 4-hour candle below this 4-hour period here, it will accentuate this bullish divergence that we have. It'll provide another higher low. At least I think it will. So then we get double bullish divergence. And that would likely be a powerful signal to bounce out from, right? We have not broken out of our downtrend yet. We're still firmly entrenched in our downtrend on the price. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary on the RSI. We are finding resistance now at an area that we've continued to find resistance at since January, man. That's crazy. Like going all the way back to the end of January. Yeah. Since we've been moving down. Right? And if we're still in the downtrend, we're finding resistance at the same areas we've been finding resistance in this whole downtrend, I'm assuming we will come down. But I am not assuming we break below this low. After we find support somewhere between 1.2 cents to 1.1 cent, essentially somewhere in this zone, right? Over the next, who knows, man? It could be today or sometime by the end of this week. I expect we find our low. After we do that, we're due for a bounce, and we're going to have a nice bounce, a very nice bounce. It's going to be phenomenal. Or maybe not phenomenal, but it'll be bigger than what we've seen in recent days. That's for damn sure. I'm expecting that from a high to a low, as long as this holds, these targets will be accurate. From a high to a low, fib retracement, I'm expecting what we do is we move from the 236 down to the 069, probably right in that area, and then up above the 382, where prior resistance was, where prior support was met, stuff like that, right? A somewhat significant area. I think we will move right above the 382, which is at 1.9 cents, so we probably find resistance somewhere around 2 cents. We will bounce from about 1.2 cents or so and then move up to 2 cents. That's going to be nice growth. It doesn't sound that big, right? We're talking about pennies here, but if the price goes to where I think it's going to go, and then it bounces from there and goes to the next area that I would think, that's going to be a 78% pump, and we will likely see that in the course of, sometime next week. Sometime next week, and it might only take a day or two to happen sometime next week, and we could absolutely continue. We could close next week over 100% more than that. Stuff like that can happen, right? XCN, whenever it moves up, it's a very fast mover. But I don't know how it's going to move up, right? We're going to try and gauge it as it goes, look at the short-term time frames, make some plays off of it. I can't wait to do some short-term trades with you guys. It's going to be fun, but we're not in the moment to do that now. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but this is something I was actually trying to talk about in another video. I just gave up on it because I couldn't find the right words. But anybody right now who's in their wrong mind selling at these areas and thinking, I'll just get in at the lower prices, you're doing it wrong, man. We are at the lower prices. This is not the time to sell. I'll prove it to you. Let's play a mental game, and you tell me if I'm wrong. If you sold the top and the price was here, would you buy right now? Even if you knew it'd go down 10% or 12%, would you buy right now? Even if it went down 20%, if you sold the top and you didn't buy back in and it's right here, would you buy right now? You'd probably buy a little something, right? You get back in, and guess what? There are people that did sell the top. There are people that are smarter than you or me. There's people with a lot more money than you or me, and they are probably thinking the same thing. They're like, you know what? I'll just buy here anyways. And they could be holding the floor up. Your idea to get prices at a lower price, it might not happen. If you're selling down here, you're literally selling at the worst possible time to what? To make up for like a 10%, 20% dip? Don't do that. We have way bigger prospects than anything that's even on the screen. We're going to go off the charts, you guys. Literally. We're going to go to 20 cents or more, I think, by the end of this move sometime in April or maybe in May. Right? We'll begin moving up probably next week, but the move will fully resolve itself, I think, sometime at the end of April, if not sometime in May. That's what I'm expecting, at least, right? So don't mess it up here, right? But I'm getting distracted. All I'm trying to say is once we do this, we'll probably go to the 2 cent area. If we can get a day to close above 1.9 cents, that would validate this as a low. I am calling for this to be the low, but the charts are not validating it yet. We have to get above 1.9 cents before we can celebrate on a daily closing basis. It has to close above there. If not, it's just resistance, the same as this was, where we found support before, and likely we will go lower, right? Or at the very best kind of scenario, we'd find resistance, come find support at the 236, maybe find a higher low here, whatever, something like that, and then continue to grow. It doesn't have to mean death, but it can mean death, right? So it's very key that we close above 1.9 cents, right? But it is oftentimes the case that whenever you go to the 382, you wick a little bit above it and then close below it. So don't be discouraged if that happens. Inevitably, we'll be working our way up, and if I had to guess how it's going to happen, not trying, I guess I'm trying to predict the future here, but I'm not expecting it to work out exactly like this. Oops, hold on, guys. I gotta work on this here real quick. There we go. Should be. I don't know what's going on. Something's wrong with the camera, guys. That's okay. It's the internet. It's not the camera, it's the internet. Anyways, what I expect to happen if I had to give it an ideal situation, we'll probably wick above the 382, come down, close below it, pull back to the 236, prior areas of resistance here, find support, continue to build, go to the golden ratio, find resistance there, an area of resistance, an area of support on a closing basis here, and then probably pull back to the 0.5 or the 382. You'll bounce from one of these target areas and then go to your 886, 786 area. That could set us up, you guys, for 1 sell order, 1 buy order, 2 sell orders, 2 buy orders. And then once we go up here, I'm done selling. I'm not playing the game anymore. As soon as we get to the 786, 886 area, I don't care if it goes all the way back down to the 382. I don't care if it goes back to the 618. I don't care. I'm waiting patiently. I'm sitting on my hands like a good little boy, and I'm waiting for this thing to go all the way up to at least probably 13 cents, if not higher. I'm expecting 20 cents or more personally, or something around there, something at new all-time highs. But just a little peek into what I could see happening as an ideal scenario. But just because I'm saying that, just because I drew a bunch of lines on here, I scribble scratched all the way over this, doesn't mean that it's going to happen. we could move up explosively to the golden ratio and then pull back to the 382 and then explosively here. And I'm definitely not going to play the game once we're up in this area. So I'd only get 1 or 2 opportunities to sell and buy back in, right? And that's fine, right? We are going to play the game a little bit in here, and maybe there will be more opportunities than what I've addressed. I will let you guys know every single time that I make a short-term trade. When I do short-term trade, and I want to be very clear, I should have said this earlier in the video, it's going to be with a very insignificant portion of my portfolio. When it comes to my total XCN holdings, I'm talking about 5% or less, okay? Nothing significant. The majority of it is sitting. I'm not touching it at all. I'm not trading the majority of my position. I'm not trading anywhere near that. 5% or less, because if I can double that 5% with some trades, if I can add 50% to it and it turns into 7.5%, that's nice. That's nice. You know, a little bit of gains here and there, and it's fun, right? It's just why not squeeze that lemon for all it's worth, a little bit here, and I shouldn't say all it's worth, but a little bit here and there. It's good practice, it's good fun, right? And it gets rid of that need to gamble maybe a little bit. But really what you should do, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, so who am I to say what you should do? What I'm going to do is trade with a small portion to make a little bit of extra cash and leave the large portion sitting, because if I mess up this trading game at all and it just rips without me, I at least will still be making money. And then I can take my short-term funds and put it into something else, okay? But long story short, guys, let's wrap this video up. I do expect that XCN goes down a little bit more, just a little bit more, not below this low, but even if it does, we're not going to panic sell. We're just going to buy more. We're going to hold. It's all going to be good. We're going to sing Kumbaya once it's all done. 1.9 cents is the area that we need to close above on a daily basis in order to validate any low as the low. And then once we get above probably like 3.5 cents to 4 cents, somewhere in this area, it's time to start considering new highs relative to this, and probably even new all-time highs. I very much expect that we will see at least 13 cents at the golden ratio here, if not the 1,886 to 200 area at about 19.5 to 23 cents by the end of this move. When is this move going to end? I don't know. You know, this is a bull flag. Oftentimes with bull flags, the move up, the move that precedes the flagpole, is much faster than the move that proceeds the breakout, right? So that took 2 weeks. It might take 4 to 6 weeks is my thoughts. Maybe it takes 3 weeks, but whenever we do break out, which is likely not going to be this week, it'll be next week, we will probably have something between 4 to 6 weeks, which let's just see what that would be. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be middle April to the very end of April, maybe the beginning of May, would be when I expect that we are somewhere in this zone completely. And yes, we could hit 35 cents. I don't think we do. I think that we probably stop between 13 to 23 cents. I'm really leaning on this 23 to 19 cent area, but time will tell. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I appreciate you all for being here. 4-hour RSI, doing the same stuff it's been doing, makes me think it's going to go lower. I'm not anticipating that we pump here. The 1-hour RSI, if it'll show its face, if it's brave enough. It is in an uptrend, or it was in an uptrend, and you've actually broken this uptrend in the RSI, back testing it for resistance. I think that you are now potentially forming a downtrend in the 1-hour RSI, which will likely play out, I mean, at this current trajectory, sometime at the end of this week, which is a time frame that we addressed in the beginning of this video. So I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, prepare yourselves. It's probably not going to happen overnight. It'll be a slow bleed, and people will get discouraged. Do not believe the media. Do not believe the comments. Like, I love it. I love my favorite comments. This is my favorite thing to say to comments like this. They'll say, "This is what you get," or "You shouldn't just listen to random dudes on YouTube." Like any YouTuber, anybody could do this. And my favorite response to that is, "Oh yes, don't listen to a random YouTuber, but definitely listen to random YouTube comments." That's how everybody in the world has made their financial wealth, right? They listen to the random comments on a comment section on someone's channel. I'm not saying that a lot of people make wealth listening to YouTubers either, but you know, I know some people have benefited from some of the calls that I've made. I know some people have not benefited from some of the calls that I've made, right? But that's not on me. That's on you at the end of the day, right? I'm no more responsible for anybody's losses than I am for your gains. If anybody is mad at me for you buying at a relatively high price instead of buying at a relatively low price, and you're feeling some kind of remorse and you want to take it out of me, then all I got to say is, you know, to put it in perspective, let's put this to bed. If the price goes up, am I entitled to your money? Right? Because you bought because of me, clearly, right? So am I entitled to your money? Do I get a portion of that money? Absolutely not. So don't try to point the blame at anybody else but yourself, right? You have to take ownership of your own financial decisions, right? If you bought at 3 cents or above, you were buying at a high price. If you bought at 2.5 cents or below, you honestly probably bought at a really good price. Because if we're at 2.5 cents to go to 20 cents, I mean, that's not quite a 10x, but that's still good gains, man. It might not feel like it now being at 1.3 cents, don't get me wrong. I bought at 2.5 cents. I bought more at 1.8 cents, 1.6 cents, 1.2 cents, right, all the way down. But if you did it wrong and you blew your load, like, let this be a lesson for the next time. You'll learn how to do it better, right? But you're not going to learn how to do it better if you're trying to blame somebody who's not even responsible for you. You're the captain of your own ship. And again, if you hear that and it infuriates you, just am I entitled to your money when you start making money? No, because it's not me making your decisions. You're the one making the decisions, right? Of course, that'd be silly if it was anything like that. So it's just as silly if you want to attribute your losses to somebody else, right? You're big boys, you're big girls. I hope you're making the right financial decisions. And really what's getting me on this is I don't want to see people, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I don't want to see people sell here. Even if we do anticipate it to go down, I don't want to see that happen because, man, that maybe you'll be right, but will you get back in? And if you get back in, are you going to try to play the game some more? What happens if we just rip? Like what happens if we don't dip and we just rip from here? I don't want to see people having suffered through all this downside to mess it up at the end when we are moments away from achieving glory, right? It's just all you got to do is wait. All you got to do is buy more. All you have to do is absolutely nothing, and it's so much easier said than done. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I feel like I went a little unhinged there at the end, but that happens. All right, bye-bye.